So I'm going to go ahead and pin you to my screen. And whenever you are ready to go, you can go ahead and get started.
All right. In the U.S. alone, athletes suffer from roughly 300,000 concussions every year. At least 25% of them fail to get assessed by medical personnel. For my senior project, I chose to volunteer for the Bow Youth Football program while researching concussions in youth football. So after our high school practices, I would drive to the Bow Youth practices and just help kind of coach them and run the practices. My goals for this project were to educate others about the risks of playing football, but also how rewarding it can be. To teach players how to prevent concussions and head contact, along with learning side effects and how to treat a concussion. I also learned how concussions affect sports culture. I achieved these goals by further educating myself about concussions, including the side effects, both short and long term. Short-term effects can be dizziness, loss of consciousness, loss of vision, but I decided to focus on the long-term effects because most people don't know about them or don't focus on the long-term effects and how they can affect you later on in life, like loss of memory, depression. CTE is a disease caused by head trauma. And I went to the practices and games to watch. Some practices I ran hitting and contact drills to teach safe technique and like make sure they're not using their head when they tackle. I learned how concussions affect sports culture, meaning how concussions can create a bad image on youth football, mainly when it comes to parents deciding whether they want their kid to play or not. I feel like they get false information or they jump to conclusions because the idea just scares them that their kid could get hurt. Concussions can never truly be prevented, but there are ways to decrease the chances. Good coaching, proper technique, and education of concussions are all factors that can lead to keeping children safe on the field. So there's no way to really prevent concussions, but there are ways to make it safer for the children and even people our age. And people are still working every day to like help with equipment and help coach and stuff like that to make it safer. In my research, I learned about the different severities of concussions, how some can heal quickly and how some can prevent you from maybe touching the field ever again. Some you can just go through the concussion protocol and be back in a week or two, and some you could be out for months or not be able to play. In our preseason for football, we watch a video every year about a college player named Preston who basically had too many concussions in a short amount of time and his brain had no time to heal. So he ended up being paralyzed, unable to speak, and struggles with everyday life like eating and going to the bathroom and just other things that you should be able to do at his age. And he's like in his 30s or 40s now, and it's something that's going to last forever. He's had multiple brain surgeries and part of his skull removed. So it just shows how much it can affect you later on. Although football can be dangerous, there are mental and physical benefits of the sport, which was one of my focuses coming into this project. It teaches lessons that can't be learned in a classroom. But the talk of concussions can be scary. It should not take away from the positive impact sports have on children. A lot of people believe that sports can be important for the mental development of children, just helping them like have the ability to work with other people or be able to be dedicated to something that they enjoy. And when it comes to parents deciding if a child should play or not, I feel like they focus on the negatives, and like I said, concussions can be scary to talk about, but they may not be properly educated. And in my opinion, there's more positives than negatives to letting your kid play football or any other sport in their youth. Before I am done today, I would like to share a quote. The concussion crisis has changed the face of sports as we know it, and it has brought to surface the incredible importance of our brain health. The time is now to focus to make our brain the number one priority so that education and awareness can take effect and begin to change the way we approach the health of our athletes from youth to professionals. And that's a quote from a former NFL player who struggled with concussions, and he now goes around and like talks about his experiences and kind of dedicates his time to research of head trauma. Overall, it is important to educate others on this topic. However, it should not create a bad image or take away from the sport. People just need to try harder to prevent these injuries to make the game safer. That's it.
Thank you, Ethan. What kind of questions do you guys have for Ethan about?
Ethan, have you personally experienced a concussion playing football?
Yeah, I've had a couple, but I went to the doctor, and none of them were like too severe, but it caused me to like research it more and just kind of have an interest in it.
Does anyone else have any questions?